my life, but I'm telling you, this has had the greatest single impact on myself, my kids, my community, my employees in the last couple of years. I'm gonna teach it to you right now. So a couple of years ago, I'm an endurance runner. I'm running a race called the Last Man Standing. Here's the format of the race. It's a 4.2-mile loop. You got an hour to complete it. If you run that loop in 50 minutes, you have a 10-minute break, because they line you up again at the top of the hour to run the 4.2-mile loop over and over. And they repeat that process over and over until one person's left standing, the last man standing. The race can go on for days. So during my training, I did 10 training runs of 38 miles. And every time I got to 38 miles, I stopped. And I'm like, oh man, that's my limit, 38 miles. Not bad for a guy in his 50s. That's not gonna get you very far in a race like this. And then I heard on a podcast, I heard about a Navy SEAL, a guy by the name of Chad Wright. And on the podcast, he's talking about how he met this kid that had only run 5 miles, his longest run at the starting line of a 100-mile race, and took him all the way to the finish line by having him repeat the words, I will not quit, I will not quit, I will not quit. I'm like, that's impossible, man. I've been running my whole life. You can't 20x your longest run by saying, I will not quit. That's impossible. But this guy's a Navy SEAL on a highly reputable podcast. I highly doubt he's lying, so I cold call him, create your own luck. I get him on the phone, I tell him my problem. He says, brother, I can solve that problem for you in 2 days, man. See, Chad Wright is a Navy SEAL from the deep woods of North Georgia. He's got a beard down to here like he's in ZZ Top. He's got tattoos all over his body and a look in his eye like he's seen some stuff in the Navy that nobody in this room would want to see. I tell him my problem, he says, man, I can solve that for you in 2 days, man. Next week he's at my house, and my friends are calling me up, they're like, what's going on, man? Did you change your cadence? Are you running differently? What are you eating? What are you drinking? I said, he hasn't said a word to me. They're like, what? I'm like, he's sitting in the corner of the room, stroking his beard, laughing at me. They're like, what? I'm like, he's hysterically laughing at me, man. It's freaking me out. This is Chad Wright. Spooky. So my wife pulls me aside. She goes, Jess, where'd you get Chad? I'm like, on the internet. So finally at dinner, Chad speaks to me. He says, Jess, tomorrow we're going to start our mission at 0500, man. But we're going to meet in the kitchen at 4:45, man, to go over the game plan. And I'm like, we're going to meet for 15 minutes? This is ridiculous, man. What a waste of time. So the next morning, we go to my breakfast table. He says, Jess, today we're going to do 3 things and 3 things only, man. And if you do these 3 things, man, you're going to smash your 38 miles. He said, the first thing that we're going to do is we're never going to give our pain a voice. I said, what does that mean, Chad? He said, I know it's going to be hard out there in the field if you're in real estate raising money. I don't have enough experience. I'm not good at sales. No one's giving me money. Or in my case, you're going to have blisters. You're going to be tired. I know you're going to have these thoughts. But we're never going to speak. Because once we speak those words, we give those words power. If I ask you how you feel today, your only response is going to be outstanding. How do you feel? Outstanding. How do you feel? Outstanding. How do you feel? Outstanding. Number 2, we're never going to die in the chair, man. I said, what does that mean, Chad? He said, we're never going to come back after one of these loops, sit down in the chair and be like, I quit. Today, we're taking quitting off the table. There's only 2 outcomes. Either you pour your soul into it and empty the tank in whatever you do and it doesn't work, or you get your goal. And when I started out as an entrepreneur, during my journey as an entrepreneur, those lessons became really valuable. As I mentioned earlier, I slept on all these couches, 18 couches from 18 to 21, 22 years old. I had a celery and carrot stick business that I knocked on doors of businesses, knocked door to door trying to sell celery and carrot sticks, failed. T-shirt company, failed. Record company, went bankrupt. a kiddie pool attendant. I had all these things that failed in my 20s. We'll get to that in a second. And then when I was 28 years old, I was a guest on a private plane. And when I walked onto the private airplane, it was like the scene in The Wizard of Oz, when everything goes in life from black and white to color. I'm like, people fly like this? What? I want to fly like this. And by the time we landed, my partner and I